So, tell you what, this weekend has been a bit of a weird one. I mean, to be honest, this past couple of weeks have been a bit of a weird one. You know, no exercise really. I've had some certain things in the way of it, and also, you know, voluntarily gone along with it to not exercise, I guess. So there's not sort of been this active de-stressing, I guess, that I get from exercise. And then we've had a bit of a chilled weekend this weekend. And, you know, mentally, I'm going through so many different thoughts on this one thing. And it's about the fact that I've finally posted. And it's starting to settle in. And there's starting to be a reaction. And then, you know, this weekend it's been checking views. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to come across this because of who I am. And how competitive I guess I am. And how, I guess, my work sort of, I don't know, mechanizes me for looking at numbers and trying to get higher numbers. And it's just the views. I just can't stop checking the views. And also being disappointed with low numbers. You know, I posted some stuff and they had 0 views. And I, you know, naturally I can't help but being disappointed in that. I know in the bigger picture I'm not disappointed. I'm completely happy. And I did also expect this. But I also did expect for me to be disappointed. And I'm okay with that. I'm completely fine with that. With being disappointed. But I understand I have to go through that disappointment. I have to feel disappointed to truly feel a different value in what I'm doing when it comes to posting. Because, you know, I've waited a year to do it. And then I've now done it. It's like I got the value from doing it without posting. And I was okay with that. But now I've posted, I've almost got to find the value in posting because it feels so embarrassing, because it feels so weird, because it's against my nature to let everyone into my thoughts. I think truly it's not how I've grown up to be. I was going to say it's not who I am, but it's mainly not who I've grown up to be. I've grown up to be someone that keeps all these emotions inside of him, who deals with it himself, who doesn't naturally need to share his thoughts. And even though I've filmed for a year expressing my thoughts to the camera, there is still no risk with it because I've not had to publish it. You know, I've not had to have people who I know listen to my thoughts, to my vulnerable thoughts, to who I truly am. Not that I fake it, but not all thoughts come up in conversation. And not only that, it's a weird scenario where you're posting specifically you talking about you and your thoughts, being self-centered and almost egotistical, because, you know, the aim is for people to listen. And because, like I said, I'm almost wired to the higher numbers I get because of work, the higher numbers I get, I see that as a reward. So when I get low numbers, it seems as a negative. Now, I am just documenting the process because deep inside me, I know I'll be fine with it in the long term. I know I'll get used to it. And I just want to talk about how this is how I am and sort of normalize it if it ever happens to anyone else. You know, I get nervous doing this, posting, should I say, not filming. Not anymore. I did, well, not anymore. You know, I get nervous posting get anxious posting. I get anxious thinking about, well, what have I said? How are people going to react? Does no views mean I've said something bad? You know, these anxious thoughts go around my head naturally, and I'm okay with that. There's no issue with that. It's just part of the process. That's what I've understood about myself. It's part of the process. It happens. It's a natural thing that happens with me, that I'm gonna cycle through every thought. And this is why I love doing this so much, because I have so many thoughts. I think of every single angle. I think of every possibility. I cycle through it multiple times. I twist and turn, and I teeter on the edge of different sides of what to feel. Now, whether that's normal and other people have that, I'm not sure. If I'm honest, don't really care, or it doesn't really matter, should I say. But it's, in the long term, I see it as a value rather than seeing it as, oh my god, I'm so anxious, I've got this side, that side, I'm thinking of every possibility, I'm getting anxious because I'm overthinking about everything. Instead of saying I'm overthinking, it's just you're thinking about every side and thinking about every possibility. And I think when I realise not everyone does that, not everyone thinks of both sides of an argument, when I realise that some people are solid on one opinion, solid on one side, whereas me, I see both sides of an argument. So I see both sides of what's happening to me right now. And when I notice that that's what I do in my head, I see the value in it. I see that it's just a process that happens. And I know, you know, I think it's been 4 days now. I'm on today, my 4th video went out. So when I eventually post this, I have been ahead by quite a bit. But it's been a week, and I can't stop looking and judging these videos and what I do, which I've already been through these emotions before. When I started reviewing older videos, I started judging myself. When I started editing and making these into clips, I started judging more and judging what I was saying, and if it was good enough. That's when I came up with, you know, it is just documenting. I don't have to be right or wrong or a certain way. And it's just going through that phase again. And I remember thinking yesterday, what's important to me is I don't waver, and I don't change who I am and how I want to be. I don't start playing to the algorithms. I don't start playing to social media rules, conforming to standards, making things entertaining and quick. I understand myself that, if I'm honest, these videos aren't necessarily exciting. I understand that these videos can be boring for some people just to sit and listen to. I get it. And it's not for you if that's not what you're into. And that's the right way of thinking, rather than, oh my god, these are awful videos, I need to change who I am and what I do. I cannot see a single thing out this window. Oh. Jesus Christ. Oh. Just need to pause for a moment. Still can't see. There you go. Yeah, I see. What was I saying? Yeah, I know these are going to be boring, and I know they're not for everyone, but the format suits me for filming and getting things off my chest and documenting. It's my way. And that's why I'm comfortable. That's what makes me comfortable posting the way I do. so I understand this first week. It could be the first week or maybe 2 weeks. I think I've noticed through filming, I go through a bit of a month cycle. When a problem arises, when I get anxious over things, and it's something I have to do, something out of my comfort zone, something new to me, something that makes me vulnerable, something that opens me up to embarrassment. It sort of takes a month cycle. 1 or 2 weeks of feeling embarrassed, of criticising, of thinking, why am I doing this, of judgment. And then after that 2 weeks, I get into it. No, it's okay, right? We're in a rhythm of things, almost my mechanical brain takes over and goes, this is a system now. This is what we do. It's just what we do. These are the numbers that come up. That's completely fine. We're not focused on numbers or anything like that. And I find comfort in that I know myself well enough that I know that that's the cycle that's going to happen. But also it doesn't help that I've had a week and a weekend that is slower, isn't busy. Because for me, if I'm busy, I'm not thinking about this. I'm not thinking about the criticism. When I've got something to do, it doesn't take up any bandwidth in my brain. It doesn't take anything off me. Those anxious thoughts only come when I'm sat here dwelling, when I'm sat here bored, when I've got nothing to think about and I've got to focus on this one thing. It's then just cycles in my brain, and I can't help but checking the views, and I can't help but checking what people think, because it's only normal that that's going to come with what I'm doing. And what it makes me believe, what I thought yesterday, or maybe even tonight actually, whatever, I do sympathise with these people that only do it for views, who only do it for popularity, who only do it to feed the ego. Because they lost the battle. They lost the battle between good and bad. They lost the battle between being who they truly are and being okay with who they truly are and feeling good enough. They lost the battle with that. And I need validation from everyone else. Sure, they might be successful, but we've all seen videos of people who are putting it on and faking it and aren't who they truly are to get views. And for me, it might not be applicable to every situation you see, but for me, I understand what they've done. They've not been successful, and they've seen the rules and the laws in play of social media, and they've seen how do you win. And if I be this certain way, then I win. But they win in terms of views, but they don't win in terms of being who they truly are. And that's because that's my main focus. That's why I think I get so anxious about this, because I'm like, I know I don't want to be checking views. I don't want to be focusing. I don't want any disappointment. I don't want any positive emotion if I get views. If I get 0 views or if I got 1 million views, I kind of want the emotions just to be neutral, and just to even hear that people enjoyed the video in a way of they enjoyed what I say, not who I am. I almost don't want people to be here for me. I want people to focus on the words that I'm saying. And that's where long term I know I'm going to be. Mentally, I'm going to be, it doesn't matter on what views I get, because I'm not the important thing here. Because there's been so many people in history. I believe there have been other people that I think like me, who have had the same thoughts of me. I don't think any of these thoughts that I've had are new thoughts. I think they've just happened to me now, and they'll have happened to other people in different stages in their life. Maybe shared them or not shared them. That's the only difference, is that I am sharing them. And they're the words that are important, because I believe a lot of the mistakes we're probably making in the world, personally and publicly as a society, I believe we've gone through them before. And we probably just don't know and just don't realize that we've gone through them before. So we don't see them we see it as new territory. We see it as, this new problem in the world. Everyone's going this way. We don't like it this way. But it's probably already happened. I believe it's already happened in the past, and we just go through cycles. And I think it's only because we've not had success in documenting what it was truly like, because it's hard, because people in power might hide stuff, or they might not truly represent what society was like. If you took every celebrity's word, or everyone in the media who's got all millions of views, if you took all their opinions and wrote them down on paper, there'll be some information missing from just us normal people. It's not, look, I don't think it's the correct term to call us all normal people, but for people who don't experience that life, I think there are things missing just because of your environment. The environment gives you a different lifestyle. And that's kind of why I also sympathize with these people that are fake on social media, who do get, not necessarily fake, but because they just get into it. They convince themselves it's okay to be this way. So it's not attacking people who are fake or who have ulterior motives. It's almost like they can't help it, because they've rewarded themselves, and they've avoided their insecurities, I guess. Maybe in some cases they've avoided their insecurities because they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to go through that suffering of saying, I'm embarrassed about this. I feel shit about this. Or they've gone through those emotions, and then they've gone, this ain't good. This isn't meant to happen. We need to avoid this. We need to make sure this doesn't happen again. Whereas what I'm trying to do is I'm kind of trying to sit in this, rather than avoid checking views and checking opinions and, oh my God, look at this. Watch out for people saying different things. Instead of doing that, I'm kind of like, I'm going to accept it. I'm trying to be okay with checking views and being disappointed, checking views and being happy. When friends are telling you, oh, you're doing great, I'm like, okay. And when people don't see the stuff and don't have an opinion on it, it's not even entered the world, that's okay too. Because long term, it's completely fine. Long term, it doesn't matter. Long term, it's not the point. Long term, it's better for me and what I truly want. I truly just want to sit down and get my thoughts out on camera, and just to think as well. That's the true aim, just to think. And that's what truly makes me happy. And it's just going to take a month to get into a position where I'm completely comfortable with it. And like I said, when you know yourself, you can take comfort in that, and you don't have to be anxious about the long-term plan and the future and stuff like that, because you can almost trust yourself. And then I say, if that's not how it's going to go, if that's not the outcome, we're in new territory. We're experiencing new things, and we're going to find who you truly are. And if you go the wrong way, you go the wrong way. You just got to correct it. But you just try and not go the wrong way and do the wrong things. each of us know morally the right way. For me, each of us know when we're running away from something, when we're trying to be someone we're not, when we're trying to cover up things. And that's all this embarrassment is. This is truly me. These are truly my thoughts. And it's embarrassing because no one ever truly says this many thoughts out, puts this many thoughts into the world. No one truly says this amount of, no one truly says this many thoughts in public. And no one's this wrong that many times. That's the hard part. Almost purposefully being wrong. I'm not trying to be wrong. I know I said purposely, but it's purposefully because I understand I'm going to be wrong, yet I carry on. And I understand that not everything I'm going to say is going to be right. And that's kind of the point, because we learn and we almost, all of us, think, is that wrong or is that right? And it makes us think. When I watch things and when I listen to podcasts, one of the reasons I love what I'm listening and watching is because it makes me think, because I almost get lost in what they're thinking. I'm almost leading myself into a fantasy world and thinking, what's that going to be like if I were ever in that position? What thoughts am I going to think? And, it makes me understand me better. And that's what I think why I love doing these videos, because it helps me understand me better. Like this weekend, having all this anxious thoughts and stuff like that, and still carry on probably for the next week. But from this week, from this Sunday to next Sunday, I'll be in a different position and I'll be in a different mindset. Just like from a year ago to now, I feel like I'm a completely different person, especially when it comes to this. And it's amazing to see. And if you don't experience it yourself and you don't, most people aren't going to document like this. And most people aren't going to see the change and see who they're actually becoming, the positives and the negatives. And that's the thing that I'm cherishing most. That from this week to next week, because I'm saying my thoughts out loud and I'm getting through them, and other people are listening, I'm getting input from other places. I've almost sped up the change in my life. I've almost sped up the thoughts in my life by just posting, because I'm getting anxious and I'm figuring out, why am I getting anxious? And I think a lot of people don't truly know why they're nervous about stuff, because it's normal to be nervous. But if you don't know why you're nervous, it's just going to keep happening. And most of the time, you're nervous because you're in a state that is unusual to you. That's why I say it will take probably a month, 2 weeks to a month for me to get not used to this, for me to get used to what everything's like. Because you don't get taught any of this. You don't get taught how you're going to feel with this. People don't, or I've not seen anyone open up about the nerves you get and the cycles in your head and the vulnerability that you feel about it all, even when you think you're solid and you're not going to focus on views. I thought I was in a place where I'm not going to check the views. I don't even care about views. Yet when I post, I think my first or second video I talk about that, but yet when I post, I can't help but look and get obsessed about it. And when people don't tell you that, you don't realize what this truly is, I think. You don't realize what's truly happening and what's truly in it. And we judge all these other people, but we don't know the footsteps that they've walked. Sorry, the path that they've walked. We don't know the shoes that they've been in, because we don't understand the path. We don't understand where they've gone and how they've got to this place. And because we don't understand, we almost can't help these people We can't say the right information to help these people. But luckily for me, I have no idea why, but I get these thoughts, like after feeling anxious this weekend, I get these thoughts of trying to figure out why even though I thought I was past it, am I not past it? And until you chuck sort of into the deep end of it all, you don't realize that you've not fully figured it out. Like this right now, I might not have fully figured it out till 6 months down the line, 4 years down the line. You know, if I ever start getting actual success, maybe then I'll figure it out. Because still now it's all hypothetical. And that's okay. That's completely fine. And this is another, when you're stepping out of your comfort zone, because this is really stepping out of my comfort zone. This really does make me uncomfortable when I post stuff. You start doing things that you don't want to do, but you know are good for you, and you know are gonna uncover new things about yourself that you can learn. And when I think you're in my position, and I've been so happy and so at peace with myself and so feeling so great about life and almost searching for what that next challenge is, even though truly I know this was always the next challenge, the next thing that was in my way. When you've got that and now you're doing it, it almost gives you a bit of adrenaline at the same time as being nervous, because I have this understanding that I'm gonna understand it. I'm gonna learn something new, and I'm gonna listen to other people with this fresher perspective on myself, with a new sort of issue, and figure it out. And that's the fun part. The nerves, you know, my belly my gut feeling like it's dropped. You know, you're getting butterflies in your stomach. You're getting nervous. You know, you're cringing a bit at yourself. You're cringing at, oh, is someone going to say something to you? You're feeling embarrassed. It's kind of what life's about, if I'm honest. It's kind of the point, I think. That's how I feel. It's kind of the point to life, that you've got to get over these hurdles. And then you'll look back and you go, what was it even all about? What are you actually nervous about? You know, you're doing something you love. You're doing it. You're enjoying it. You're living life exactly how you want to be, and you're living life being you. Which, God, if everyone could live the life just truly being them, it would change your life. Like I think it's changing my life. But yeah, anyway, at home now, so peace.